Hello, everyone. It's time for Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 486, season 20. Today's date is October 28th, 2025, and welcome to the program. On this program, we're going to do our Halloween episode. Last year, I did the top 10 movies that were shown on Creature Features. That's a TV show that aired on WGN-TV, Channel 9 in Chicago. This time, I'm going to talk about Creature Features, but I'm going to say or imagine what movies would be shown if this show was on the air still, if it was still on the air, and what movies would they show? Like, for example, not just the Universal horror movies, it would be from the 70s and 80s and the 90s. Well, I'll discuss that and try to imagine. It'll be a lot of fun. That's the only thing I'm going to talk about today. That's the topic. Before I get started, we're going to go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Dolly Madison Zingers. And this is a Halloween episode, and this aired in the mid-1970s. Okay. So sit back and relax. Let's go back to the mid-1970s and Halloween. Ooh, it's haunted. and I'll be right back with the rest of the show, folks. Thank you.
10 singers, 9 singers, 8 yummy singers, 7 singers, 6 singers, 5 tasty singers.
Everyone wants to zap gold cake with vanilla frosting, devil's food with chocolate, raspberry with coconut, all with cream centers.
Please one singer to zap.
Right now, in specially marked bonus packs, you'll find a pumpkin decorating kit and 2 extra zingers.
Trick or treat.
1 trick and 2 treats from Dolly Madison.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Zingers. That was a Halloween episode from the 1970s. They're still being made. Also, they're not owned by Dolly Madison. They are manufactured by Hostess. So they had 3 flavors: chocolate, vanilla, and raspberry. Raspberry is with coconut. I wasn't crazy about those, but I like the chocolate ones. The ones were good. It featured the Peanuts characters throughout the 70s and the 80s because Dolly Madison was a sponsor of the Charlie Brown specials. I think it's a Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown or a Charlie Brown Christmas, I believe, and other ones too. Probably Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Remember that? So I haven't had one in a long time. So they were good. They changed. Small. I think they're smaller now. So I don't know. Okay. Excuse me. At the beginning of the program, I mentioned I'm going to talk about if Creature Features was alive. No, not alive. If it was still on the air, what horror movies would they show today? Would they still show the Universal ones, the horror movies like Dracula or Frankenstein? Maybe. Or do we just current ones, or like from the 70s or 80s? I will discuss that, and I'll do my picks. Before I get started, I'll mention a couple things. One, I had the surgery last Tuesday. I'm still recovering. I'm doing a little better. Still sore. And I will see my urologist on November 6th. I'll see what he says. Because I had a sphincter put in. I can't use it yet. I have to wait for him to say, go ahead. So we'll see what happens. Then I have chemo on the 4th of November. We'll see what happens then. I don't know. Okay. And also, what else this week? Oh, yeah. Tonight I'm going out to dinner with my friends. We do this about every 2 or 3 months. I'm looking forward to it. Going to Bella Mia, that's located in Midlothian. I've never been there. It's a wonderful. I heard it's a wonderful place. The food is good. I can't wait. I can't wait to see everyone. I hope I'm going to be comfortable sitting down. I think I will. I just have to. But I got to stand up sometimes and walk around. So we'll see what happens. Okay. All righty. Now we're going to talk about Creature Features. So let me give a little brief history of Creature Features. Now, it premiered on September 19th, 1970. It was it aired on Saturday nights at 10:30 on Channel 9, WGN-TV in Chicago. What it did, it showed old scary movies from Universal Studios. And the first one they showed was Dracula and the She-Wolf of London. That was a double feature. They did that. Most of the time they show double movies, but because they're short and with commercials. And so what I did on 2020, September 19th, that was about 50, this is the 50th anniversary. I had those two movies on DVD and I watched them. I had two DVD players. I put one for Dracula and the other one for She-Wolf of London. And I pretended like it was September 19th, 1970 when Creature Features premiered. And that was cool. That was nice feeling like that. The only difference, well, that's the only difference. The other difference was there was no commercial, so it was like straight through. Okay. Now, in the beginning, they showed Dracula's Castle opening. People, you can find that on YouTube. And they played that theme song, Experiment in Terror, composed by Henry Mancini. That was used in the movie Experiment in Terror. Came out in 1962. It starred Lee Remick and Ross Martin. I think Glenn Ford was in it. Yeah, I haven't seen the movie in ages. Not for a long time. I should watch it. I've mentioned this before. And according to a lot of people, that series of Creature Features scared the pants off of them. Me too. That creepy music that and at the end of the theme song, they show a picture of Lon Chaney Sr. as the vampire in that 1927 silent classic, London After Midnight, which is still lost to this day. I wish we could find it. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. But I think TCM a long time ago did a reconstruction with photos of all that. I watched it, but it wasn't the same. I wanted the movie. A lot of people are not crazy about silent movies, but this was an exception. I mean, it was a classic, and so that was his character was shown every week, every Saturday night. Creature Features, okay. And they showed other movies, from Universal, like, for example, Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Wolfman, Son of Dracula, Dracula's Daughter. What else? The Black Cat, The Invisible Man. Lots of them. And then, like, sequels of, Frankenstein and Dracula. There was House of Dracula. There were so many like that. They showed Godzilla later on. They did that. One of their favorites was not exactly a horror movie. It was a comedy horror movie, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. This is what I heard. When they aired that for the first time on Creature Features, it was like the ratings were nuts. People loved it. And, they didn't get scared, but they if you're younger, you got scared. But then if you're older, you're laughing at them because it was hilarious. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it. I really do. It's perfect for Halloween every year to watch it like that. And they showed other Abbott and Costello films, that were horror themed, like, for example, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Mummy. What else? I can't think of. The Invisible Man, I think. Other ones like that. Okay. And they didn't show science fiction movies. No, that was that's not for that. So these Universal movies are still shown today, but they're on Svengoolie every Saturday night. I think they keep changing the time. I think it's 7 or 6. I haven't seen the show in a while, but I do want to watch it because I love Svengoolie. Rich Coase is a very nice man. I do talk to him once in a while on Facebook. He knows me. He knows my account, Band Chicagoland. So it's very honored. And he does give the rights to it, like that. And so you can still enjoy it, And I think Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein is on this weekend. is this Saturday, so that would be fun. Okay, now, Creature Features ended in 1976, some around there. It was aired sporadically, I think after 74, 75 or something like that. And people still talk about to this day because the memories of, watching it, ordering, having John's frozen pizza or having a big bottle of RC Cola and Jiffy Pop popcorn, to watch that, invite their friends, have a pajama party, or like if you're at your friend's house and then you would get the blankets and the covers and you hide under them. That happened to me. When I watched, I was a little uneasy, like that. But now it's nothing. So, but it was memorable. It was very memorable. Now, so I'm going to talk about what movies should have been aired if it was continued. I'll tell you. I'm going to do the 70s, and then I'll take a break after that. Okay, so just a moment. Here we go. Like, for example, let's see. There was like Count Yorga Vampire. That movie was scary. They could have aired that. Or the, let's see what else. There could have been the, The Exorcist from 1973. That would have been a classic. It would have shown that. Yeah, that would have been great. The Amityville Horror. That came out in 79. Another one would have been Jaws. It is a horror movie in a sense, but there's a creature. It's a shark, but it would have been great to see that, Let's see what else. The movies, not slasher movies. No, slasher movies will not be airing that. I don't think so. No, I don't know. Other movies, I thought, not just the 70s, but back earlier than that, like the Hammer movies, from England. Like, for example, Horror of Dracula that starred Christopher Lee. That could have aired, that would have been perfect. Or they had Frankenstein. Also, there was one of my favorite movies of Hammer, from Hammer Studios, was The Brides of Dracula. They used to show this on Channel 7 when I was a little kid. I was scared of that movie. Oh, but the guy who played, he wasn't Dracula. Maybe he was Dracula, but he was very convincing. He was scary. And then, he bit his victims, a couple of women, and they became his brides, and that would have been a perfect movie to watch that. Okay. From the 50s, there were some movies, I forgot the name of the studio, but they produced I Was a Teenage Werewolf, or I Was a Teenage Frankenstein, and also Blood of Dracula that featured a female vampire. They showed those in Svengoolie. That would have been perfect, for Creature Features. I thought so. Or The Thing from 1951. Maybe like that. So there was, what else? So let's see. So from the 70s, there was The Exorcist, and I'm trying to think what else would have been great. I don't know, because they made a lot of movies that were like devil worshipping or like a murder, like that. Like for example, the TV movie Trilogy of Terror. It starred Karen Black. They showed that in Svengoolie. That would have been perfect. But the last, it was three stories. The last story was with the Zuni doll. That would have been fine, But that was very short. So they would show the whole thing like that. Okay, that makes sense. So that's crazy. But they didn't make a lot of monster movies. Not really. No. I think that the 80s came later for that. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, I'll talk about the movies from the 80s and 90s. What could have been shown on Creature Features if it was still on the air. So just sit back and relax, and I'll be right back with the rest of the show, folks. Thank you.
gosh, Burger Chef, it's Wolfburger the werewolf.
Where can I get delicious burgers? Where can I get fun food? Where, oh where?
At Burger Chef.
Where?
And now at participating Burger Chefs, you can buy fun meals that now come on Halloween magic meal trays. There's a magic trick in each fun meal. There are 10 different magic meal tricks you can collect.
Burger Chef, you're incredible.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed that break. Now, I just thought of another movie from the 60s that would have been perfect for creature features, Night of the Living Dead. That would fall under it, I guess. I saw it once and made me very uncomfortable. I didn't care for it. I don't like zombie movies. No. I don't like zombie movies at all like that. So from the 80s, I was thinking there was a classic called The Shining that starred Jack Nicholson. Now, that's a horror movie. There's not a creature. He's just a man, he flipped his lid, running around with an axe. So that would have been perfect. I think it would be fine. Yeah, it would be okay. And also, let's see what else we got. Someone sent me, could prom night be in that? Well, no, it's a slasher movie, and for example, like Friday the 13th, that would have been perfect. Yeah. Because Jason Voorhees is a classic character. And, it's kind of a slasher movie, but the thing is, he's iconic, and that would be fine to do that. Also, there was The Fog. That was a movie by John Carpenter, which I saw at the comic book convention in New York. I should have talked to him, because he seemed like a nice guy. And that would have been cool to do that. That's fine. Another one would have been The Howling. Yeah. With all the werewolves. Also, American Werewolf in London. That would have been great. That would be fine like that. Let's see what else. So maybe The Evil Dead. I don't care about zombies, but that would have been fine. Like that. And also, if it's, and there was no, not the fun. It was also Ghost Story that came out in 1981. It featured a lot of old actors. That would have been perfect. Now, someone sent me a message. What about Halloween with Michael Myers? Maybe. Yeah, that would have been fine. That would have been fine because he's an iconic character. Okay. So you could do that. That's fine with that. Like that. Let's see what else. There was also Cat People. They made a movie in the 40s and they made one in the 80s, maybe. Now, how about Creep Show? Yes. Creep Show would have been perfect. Yeah, that would have been, scary and memorable. So, that's funny like that. Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's see what else here. Also, The Lost Boys. Remember that vampire movie? It was like in 1987. That would have been fine. It's a vampire movie. And also, besides The Shining, which was a Stephen King novel, there would have been other Stephen King movies that were shown. Like, for example, Cujo. Or Christine, with the possessed car. Otherwise, I can't think on the top of my head like that. What about, someone said Poltergeist. Poltergeist would have been perfect. It would have been perfect, yeah. Because it's a ghost story. And, not a ghost, but if you've seen the movie, you'll understand. So it would be Poltergeist. There was another one. I can't think at the top of my head. I lost it. There was Poltergeist and I can't think of the other one. It'll come to me. Yeah. So Gremlins. Would Gremlins be considered showing on Creature Features? Yeah, because it's a horror comedy movie like Abbott and Costello and Me Frankenstein. It's not that scary in a way, but it would have been fine. Yeah, that would be okay to do that. Let's see what else. Child's Play that came out in 1988. Yeah, that would be okay. Also, there was one I overlooked, Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it would have been perfect to be shown on Creature Features because Freddy Krueger is a very enduring character in horror movies. And he made so many. I know, he made so many like that. So it would have been fine. Yeah, it would have been fine at all. For the 90s, not much. Like, I can't think of it on the top of my head. There's so many like that. So I don't know. And so anyway, what am I getting at is like today horror is, or it started like in the 80s. They mean to disgust you. I remember Roger Ebert saying this with Gene Siskel, Siskel and Ebert on the show. They were discussing horror movies, and they said that horror movies today don't scare you; they disgust you. I would be scared. You need the suspense. You need the tension, like that, like from the old ones from Universal. I mean, yeah, they were visually. So in the 1931 movie Dracula, you don't see him biting. You see him about to bite the victim, but you don't see his fangs. Like that. Today they're a little more graphic and like that. Okay. Oh, I just thought of another movie. So another movie from the 80s I would have been okay is Fright Night. It was a vampire movie. That would have been perfect. Yeah. Someone else sent me a message. What about the Rocky Horror Picture Show? It actually was a musical. And it's set in, horror. But I think it would be fine, if they show it at midnight. Why not? That would have been cool to see that. So there's so many. There's so many like that. So I was saying before, like the horror movies, they're meant to scare you like that. It's like Alfred Hitchcock movies. They're not considered horror movies. They're melodramatic, and they have twist endings like that. Like Psycho, from 1960, would that be eligible for Creature Features? Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not sure. Okay. So I won't do a menu today. I didn't have a chance to do that. I'll do that on the next podcast episode. So it would have been cool if Creature Features was still on the air. But would kids today watch it? I don't know. People my age, yes, they would. Absolutely. For Svengoolie, which airs on Saturday nights, I mean, I don't know what the audience is to watch. It's probably people my age, maybe younger, maybe. If you have children, and get, and you sort of persuade them to watch the movies if they like that. Some of the kids do like them, so that's cool, like that. Okay, so. Last question: do you think Creature Features will ever come back on Channel 9? No, never. I don't think so. Because someone the station said that we don't have the rights to the movies, and do you think it'll work? No. Back then, it was innocent, and kids were, they love fantasy and like that, but they looking forward to them. Someone else mentioned, Creature Features was not the first show to show scary movies. That is true. There were other ones. There was Thrillerama that aired on Channel 5 WMAQ in the late 50s, early 60s, or something like that. And before that, it was Shock Theater that starred Marvin, the host, and his wife, Dear, played by Tara Bennett. I did a podcast episode about him, and that came out in December 1957. I don't know his exact date. And it aired on Channel 7. It was WBKB back then, not WLS. It aired on Saturday nights. The thing is, it was short-lived. Creature Features lasted a little longer, but this was about 2 years in the making. But when it went on the air, it was very popular, and it was like Svengoolie. They had breaks. They had scenes. They didn't tell jokes. Not really, not that I know of. But they had a band. Just like Svengoolie has music. So a lot of people still remembered it. People older than I am that do that. Okay. So that's it for this show. I'm sorry for rambling so much, but I thought it was a fun Halloween show. Okay. So I'll do a recap of what I've talked about. I talked about if Creature Features was still on the air on WGN-TV, Channel 9 in Chicago, what movies would air? Would it be Universal movies from the 30s and 40s, or would it be more current ones, or more modern ones from the 70s and 80s and the 90s? Who knows? You can only imagine. Okay. All right, this podcast will be published later on today, wherever podcasts are available. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Breaker, Overcast, iHeartRadio, Good Pods, but Podbean. If you have these apps on your phones or your tablets, you can tap on them, tap follow. You'll receive a notification of the latest episode. You can listen to the previous episodes if you like. Also, it'll be published on my blog, www.vanishchicagoland.blog. It'll be there. You can click on the link. It'll take you right there. If you have a desktop, also, do that as well. Also, it'll be on my YouTube channel. And people still ask me, where do I find your podcast? I want to listen to your podcast. Show me the link to your podcast. Okay. It is on YouTube. Do a search. If you go to your YouTube page, type in Pete Costanis or Van Chicagoland Stories. If you find that, click subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. Also, you can listen to previous episodes. They're all there. You can listen to any device, whatever at your convenience. Also, be sure on my social media accounts, Facebook, X, Reddit, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Okay. So that's fine. That was fun. All right. I will probably do another episode, I believe, Sunday, not Saturday. I think I'm going somewhere. So, yeah, I'll have one there. So Halloween will be over by then. We're looking forward to Thanksgiving. Can't wait. All right. So this is Pete Costanis, your host for Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. I had fun. Today's not a bad day. I'm looking forward to dinner tonight. Also, here's Bye-Bye for me, and here is a little traveling music from our favorite person in the whole wide world, the Chicago legend Ray Rayner, saying bye, bye, bye. Take care, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Thank you.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.